welcome to the Patricia Joe Grover Show, where we turn believers into achievers. And today with me, I have Davina Lyons. And let me tell you a little bit about Davina. She's an author, she's a speaker, an educator, and a personal development coach. She is the founder of the Tribe Authentic Woman. It's a safe place for women to collectively do their work transforming. This means self-discovery, redefining themselves, and elevating their personal life standards in general. Davina has personally overcome a lot of hardships, childhood trauma, personal miscarriages. She actually had several. She has been in abusive relationships and had unfulfilling careers. She learned from her journey that those terrible things do not define her life. She is now on a mission to help women love and embrace their authentic selves so they can live their best life and reach their highest potential. So, Davina, you and I are on a similar mission, and I'm so glad to have you here with me.
So glad to be here. Thank you, Patty. I'm very excited to be on your show. Thank you.
Yeah, and again, we walk the same, very similar walks, so that's fabulous. So I have some
Absolutely.
questions for you because I always find that I learned from my guests too. It's
Mhm.
a give and take thing. So tell me about what is the Tribe of Authentic Women? What's that? You have a workshop about that. Can you tell us about it?
Absolutely. So in 2018, in March of 2018, I launched a monthly workshop that was in person here in Mesa, Arizona. And at the time, my thoughts were bring women together, create a safe space for women to be able to, share, situations and circumstances they may be faced with in their lives, but also to be free enough to explore their authentic self. So I started out with the whole notion of authentic voice. And so this was an opportunity to use their authentic voice and be amongst women, like-minded women who also had that same desire to grow. And from that monthly workshop, we evolved and became more of a community and Facebook community, right? As well as, of course, due to the pandemic, we, like everyone else, you pivot, you shift, and now it's an online workshop. And I'm very excited that now I can reach women worldwide. So that's what it's evolved to. But it started in March of 2018, and we're still going strong. And absolutely, we now have the Authentic Me community in addition to Tribe Authentic Women.
Wonderful. And it's such a need right now. That's fantastic. So,
Mhm.
how do you actually define authenticity?
Yeah. So to me, there's three components to us as individuals. There's our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. Right. So our feelings are our emotions, and typically, if a person is compromised or in a position where they are not really in alignment with where they want to be. Maybe in a situation they don't want to be in, the thoughts, the feelings, and the actions are not going to line up. And if you think about a visual where you have three circles, that sweet spot in the middle
Right,
where they
right.
all
Mm-hmm.
intersect, that to me is authenticity. That's that space where you are able to align your thoughts, how you feel, and your behaviors and your actions. You are not compromised having to do one thing, say another. And so that's really to me authentic. Other people think it's I'm not being fake. I mean, when I first started, that was the thing. It was all about I'm not fake. I don't, I'm like,
Right,
no, 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 no. That's very surface. That's not where I am. I'm
right.
talking about internal. I'm talking about turn the lens inward. And so that to me is authenticity.
And that little spot is a sweet spot. That's
Right,
that's that's that nice comfort level that you just
right.
feel like you and I had a discussion earlier about
Hmm.
how it's nice to be where we are in our life right now.
Absolutely.
That spot.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So, and why do you think that authenticity is so important?
Because, you know, from the time you're, say, age 0 to 7, you're not logically figuring out anything, right?
Right.
You are pretty much at that stage where, it's you're trusting who is around you. You are just wanting to, it's all about Maslow, right? It's all about that need to survive. But as a child, you are innocent and open. But something happens after the age of 7. Something happens where now you are, and you and I have talked about this, where things, your environment, the people around you, you start to make meaning of what is going on around you. And
Right.
sometimes it's damaging. I specifically am very much so interested in people who have experienced trauma. And so why authenticity is so important is because as you get older and you go through life and you are constantly going along to get along, whether it's on the job, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's with your family members, you name it. I don't think anyone out there has, not experienced something where they felt uncomfortable,
Right.
right?
Right.
But for some people, it's a whole way of life. For some people, the way of life is so far from who they really are. They don't know what they're passionate about. They don't know their purpose. They just, from age 7 on, they were passengers, right?
Right. Right.
What's important to me is to return to that space. And some might say, well, how do you know what that is? Well, again, because we're all purposed for greatness. And so you just have to be open to finding that. And that means eliminating some stuff. And within that, if you think
Mm.
about a diamond, right? When you find a diamond, how precious is a diamond,
Oh, so
right?
very. Right.
What happens? The excavation process and everything to refine it to where we can see all of those beautiful shimmery, facets. We're the same way. And so
Right.
to me, that is the authenticity process. Why do you think, diamond and jewelers look for authenticity?
That's
It's the
true.
same thing.
That is
They're
true.
looking, yeah. What can we buff off? What can we um, eliminate from our lives that are preventing us from shining?
And we all have those things. We all
Absolutely.
have those things. If some people tell you they don't, they're fibbing.
Right.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Fantastic. Great.
People
Great.
wear a mask.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. But that's great, great information. So, what are some of the biggest challenges you or other women you serve have with authenticity?
Well, there's a fear. There's a fear that, and I experienced this myself. You think you're in a comfortable place. You think that you have to hold on to that space that you're in because everything else, the unknown, is scary, right?
Right, right.
So women have a hard time because guess what? If I really truly follow my thoughts and my feelings, my actions have to line up, and that might mean letting go of some people that are not good for me in my life. It
Exactly.
might mean quitting a job and getting a better one or a different one, but that's risk, and
Yes.
people don't like to take risks. And so it's probably one of the most difficult, and it's not like people raise their hand and say, "Hey, I need to be authentic." I don't get that. You
Right.
know, I don't speak to that with people. What I do speak to, and I specifically work with women, I speak to the position that they are in life and where do they want to be? Where do
Fantastic.
they want
That right, exactly, exactly. And it
to? Yeah,
is. And those things change. Change
yeah,
brings fear. Those things they're scary for people, but if you want to move forward, it's the choices and decisions that we make are
right.
what design our destiny. So that, where you and I both help people line things up so it's easier to take those steps to move forward.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be all at once. That's the
No.
other, I think that's the mistake that people make is that they feel like I have to let go of something right now, today. And for some people, you have to be, I hate to use the word calculated, but strategic. How
Right.
about that?
Strategic.
You
Exactly.
have to be strategic and you have to take the time to get where you need to be. I often use the metaphor, it's chess, not checkers.
Oh,
It is, there's a lot more strategy to navigating in our lives than people want to, give credit for. But it's about waking up every day with the intention to get where
yes.
you need to be.
Yes.
And I know you get that, right?
I totally get it, and that's the thing. We're like two peas in a pod because yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that's
Exactly. Yeah.
fantastic. So Davina, why women? Why do you specifically like to work with women, or you're just drawn to that? Because I know I am as well, but
Yes. Well, um, it really is tied. My why has everything to do with my family and the women in my family. The men in my family, specifically, I'm speaking of my mother.
oh, it's your mother. I was with my mother as well. Oh, are you there? Yep.
I'm here.
Okay,
Hmm.
there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there was a pattern, and my grandmother and my mother, and what I saw was that I had to break the pattern. I had to interrupt the pattern, so to speak. And I won't. There's not enough time to go into all of the things that I needed to do differently. But what I realize is that women have unique situations. Men experience trauma. Men have things that are going, but I cannot speak to what a man feels,
Right.
and I don't want to pretend to. I find that very difficult. I think that there are enough qualified men out there doing what you and I do to serve other men. I also want to create a safe space. So for me, it's not a safe space if I put men and women in the room together.
Right.
It's not safe for the women, it's not safe for the men. it,
Right.
it becomes now something different.
Because
So I
there's
had to
there's
make
a
a decision.
guard there's a guard that comes up to not be to not get down to the nitty
Absolutely.
gritty. Right.
Absolutely right. And we want to honor women in that way, and make sure that women feel safe to be able to express themselves, not male bash, nothing
No,
like
no,
that.
no.
I have respect for men, and I understand what they go through. um, but I just can't speak to it. you
Right.
know I
Right.
really can't, because I'm not a man.
Right. Exactly.
So,
And
yeah.
their feelings are tend to be they're not as open, and they tend to be more guarded to try to have a conversation or anything with it. So yeah, by all means,
They're so wired differently. Yeah.
right. Right. So
And they're
wonderful.
socialized differently. They're taught different too. They're taught to express themselves in a different way. And when a man does really show emotion and communicate the ways in which women do, then they're criticized by other men. I don't envy them. I don't
No,
envy their
that's true.
plight, because from little boys they're socialized not to cry, not to do certain things, and depending on the men in their lives that raise them, they can either mess them up or they can really be their heroes. But that's a whole nother thing. I
Exactly.
can't I can't navigate, right? I can't
Exactly.
do it.
Exactly. That's not my
Yeah.
lane.
Not my lane. I know
Not
my
my
lane.
lane.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. It's so good to have you here with me. And I believe we're talking in what did I say what day it was?
Women's Equality.
Yeah.
Women's Equality Day.
How
Absolutely.
how
Yeah.
fabulous is that to be able to have you on my show for Women's Equality
No better
Day?
day.
I
No
know.
better day.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When you think about equality, what that really truly means, if you're not functioning authentically, at what level, at whose bar are you measuring up to, right?
Right.
And so that in and of itself, we ask for things as women, but we certainly have to stand up for what we need. And so
Hmm.
again, if you would get to that point where you're comfortable with being authentic and functioning in that way, then it's very easy for you to stand up for what you need and to be equal in that sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that just that sense of pride and enthusiasm that you can have with your own self at when
Right.
you have that feeling. That's
Right.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, because I never feel like, and I'm not minimizing what women experience out there in the workforce, but I've never felt less than. Not for in any corporate setting before becoming an educator, and even as an educator with colleagues that are male,
Right.
I've never felt less than for the color of my skin nor for my gender.
Right.
And that to me is all about mindset. Again, I'm not minimizing that
Right.
there's true inequality out there, and there are things that are happening. And again, let's get women to that point where they feel good about standing up for what they believe in, speaking their truth,
Hmm.
right?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that is, now you're talking, now you're on your way to living your best life.
Exactly.
That's my central message.
Exactly.
So
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
that's it.
Fabulous. So, Davina, do you have any gifts for our viewers?
Absolutely. I, especially for your viewers, I would love to engage in a conversation about authenticity, a 45-minute complimentary conversation. Just go to my website, davinalyons.com, and fill out a contact, and I would, and just say they have to mention Patricia Joe Grover Show.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. I will be more than happy to have a conversation, and we can talk about coming as a guest to a workshop, or maybe there's some, one to one. But there's the thing is that Patricia, you and I, like you said, we both serve women, and there are different ways in which we do that,
Right.
and so there's enough space out there, obviously,
Right.
for us to help the women because we're in this together,
Right, exactly. Or I wouldn't have right, right. Why would I have
right?
you? Right. I why would I have you on my show if I felt, that there was anything?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a win-win, it really is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love
So
it. Love what you're doing.
fantastic, and I love what you're doing too. We're serving from our heart. So if you want to find out more about me, patriciajoegrover.com. I'm the goal achievement strategist, and I have gifts for you as well. Just watch the little video we have on the end, and thanks again for being with me, Davina. And until next
Great.
time, everybody, I'll see you again
Yes.
tomorrow. Bye.
Yes. Love it.